Welcome back everyone to another video on That Pineapple Life, Dreadlocks. I saw that you guys really enjoyed the dreadlock review video I did on Ladine Clark. If you haven't seen it already, you can watch it right here or right there. And today I am bringing you another dreadlock review video. If you've seen the previous review video, you already know who it is. His name is Jorge Wright, and he has such dope dreadlocks, so stay tuned. So Jorge Wright is a model, an Instagram influencer. He's from Brooklyn, New York. He used to work at H&M, but right now he's doing campaigns with huge brands, so I doubt that he still works there. Let's talk about his locks. So I first came across a video from Jorge Wright when I was looking at a YouTube video from a channel called Style Like You. The series they were doing is called What's Underneath, and they basically bring people onto the show to talk about their life, their insecurities, how they overcame those insecurities, etc. And whilst they are answering questions, they are taking off pieces of clothing. Now don't worry, I'm not going to show naked people on this channel, but the idea is that the metaphor of becoming vulnerable is very literal. So you take off your clothes and you start to talk about vulnerable aspects of your life. So Jorge was featured in one of those episodes, and that's actually how I came across him for the first time. These pictures are not going to be in the right order. In some pictures he'll have quite shorter locks and the other ones quite long ones. I'm just going to go through the pictures I chose to show you guys today. So as you can see in this video, his locks are already super long. This is his signature style. He wears them in a bun on top of his head, and it's kind of a messy bun. I've seen this look a lot, but what makes him unique is that he probably wraps them a certain way, and it always looks kind of messy, and it really suits him. And if you look closely to his hairline, you can see that he hasn't really retwisted or manipulated his hair for a while. His hair at the roots looks a bit frizzy, and this is just a natural look of most people who have dreadlocks, who, you know, go about their lives. They sleep with their dreadlocks probably in a bun or maybe even wrapped in something. And the longer it has been since you retwisted your dreadlocks, the more frizzy they will probably look if you have nappy hair. You can also see that he has kind of wispy ends on his dreadlocks on some of them. He probably doesn't take a crochet hook to the end of his locks to make them blended, or uses some other method to do that. So another signature of him is his crooked smile. If you watch the episode of Style Like You, you can hear him talk about the fact that his crooked smile is really his signature, his trademark. You can see lots of pictures of him also on his Instagram where he has that same smile, that crooked smile. The same YouTube channel did a style video on Jorge as well quite a while back. It's called Closets, where they talk about his sense of style, what he likes to wear, his fashion, how he buys his clothes, whatever. I mean, this video is quite old and his style is really dope. I really like it. It's, even if people would wear that today, it'll be very, very cool. But there's one portion of this video that I want to show you where he talks about his dreadlocks.
I grew up on Bob Marley. If you would have seen my room or my mother's room, it is Bob Marley all over. As soon as I got dreads, it no longer was okay for me to eat pork. The amount of girls that fell in love with me, I never had as much fans as I did after I got dreads. It's become a lifestyle, way much more than just a hairstyle.
So you can hear that he grew up with Bob Marley, and it probably came from his mother. Jamaican culture has been a huge influence in his childhood, so this also contributes to him not eating pork, wearing his dreadlock this type of way. So when Jorge is asked about one of his most important influences, he names Bob Marley. And he says it's because of the way he thinks and the way that he doesn't care what people think or say about him. This is also very clear from the Netflix documentary Marley. If you haven't seen it, it's probably still on there. It's basically a great documentary, and you get to see a lot of dreadlocks. I will probably do a video on Bob Marley's evolution of his dreadlocks as well, so stay tuned for that. So now I just want to get into a few pictures that I took from Instagram and from other websites. In this picture you can see him walking down the street in the iconic Balenciaga sneakers. You have that messy bun again, and you can see that his locks are quite long because his bun is almost as big as his head, which makes his locks quite long. Here in this video, he's wearing a Fendi glasses and a white jacket, and you can see his crooked smile, and this bun just looks great to me. It probably didn't take him long to get his bun looking like that. He makes him look very, very fashionable. I really hope that my locks will one day look like that, sitting on top of my head. And then this is the first picture where you see him with his hair down, and you see how long his dreadlocks actually are. In this photo, his locks are all the way to his waist, but I think I've seen photos of him with his locks being even longer than this. What I found really interesting in this picture is that you can see that he retwisted his hair. His parts are really, really clearly visible, and you can see that he has more thicker locks. Most people who get dreadlocks get them a bit more thin. You can see that. You can see quite clear boxes. Like if you would get box braids, this is kind of what the parts would look like, but for him, he just chose this as the thickness of his dreadlocks. Here you can see another photo of him where he actually just got his dreadlocks retwisted, because you can see the clips still on the right side of his head. They are still in his hair, and they probably use some type of gel or coconut oil or whatever to retwist his hair and then set it with the clips, and then he'll let it dry, and then he'll take the clips out and the locks will stay nice and clean looking. This is actually how most people I know retwist their dreadlocks. They use those same clips and they retwist their locks every once in a while. What you can also see in this picture is that he once had different color dreadlocks, because if you look at the bottom by his left elbow, you can see that his dreadlock was blonde once upon a time. This is a picture that is quite a bit sooner in his dreadlock journey, because his dreadlocks only come to almost like nipple height, and if you start your dreadlocks with a few inches long, getting to this length will probably already take you around like 3 or maybe 5 years for some people. So imagine how long he's had his dreadlocks for. At least that's what I thought. He had his dreadlocks for a really long time, but when I looked at this part of the closets video,
I have had these dreads for about 3 years now. If I was seeing another dread right now, I'll have to respect.
He's had his locks for only 3 years. Now here, they seem kind of the same length as the picture I showed you, where I thought they were like 3 to 5 years old if you start them kind of from scratch, from a few inches. But I feel like he started his locks with slightly longer hair, and this is why. This picture of him, this is probably for a party that was going on. He was on the flyer of that party. You can see that his locks are quite immature in this picture, but his hair is already quite long. So this gives me an indication of the fact that he started his dreadlocks with medium length hair. So probably the length of my hair right now, it will probably take me around 3 years to get to where he was in the video. And then if we go back a little bit into the closets video, you can now see that he has that top bun as well. So he was already rocking this bun for quite a long time, but you can see that the bun here is very tight, which means his hair is a bit shorter than what we saw in the Style Like You video, where his bun is huge and messy. Here you can also see the ends of his dreadlocks, which have those wispy ends. And if I'm honest, I really love this stage of dreadlocks. I love the stage where most of the dreadlock has formed and has like a firm body and it looks quite uniform, but the wispy ends are still showing. I think that's my favorite period in the dreadlock journey. Something you can see in this video as well is what I said before. You could see that he dyed his locks blonde before. Here you can actually see 2 of them still being blonde. And if they take a close up, I think it's actually more than 2 dreadlocks that he dyed blonde. So once upon a time, he had a few blonde locks, which I see a lot of people, they start to dye their dreadlocks after a while, because when you go through that whole dreadlock journey from your starter locks and then to a bit more of the maturing and the budding process and then the growing process, after a while it doesn't feel like your locks are changing a lot anymore. And lots of people want to do something to their hair, but dreadlocks are quite a straightforward style. You can style dreadlocks, you can have them braided and whatever, but A lot of people dye their dreadlocks because they feel like they want to do something different to their hair, or they want to see more changes to their dreadlocks. And I mean, in his case, he probably dyed them back in his original color after a while, because people do get sick of having colored dreadlocks, unless you're called Lil Pump. So my battery's running out, so I'm quickly gonna go through another few photos where you can see his locks. This is another video where you can see his locks again. He has that messy bun on top of his head. I can't really get enough of it. And then I have a video here where his locks were really short. This is from his own YouTube channel, and this is from a long time ago, where you can see him talking with his friends. You can see that his hair has not fully matured yet, which is really cool. He's also dyed a few of his locks green in this video, but I think it's cool to see that his dreadlocks were once very immature looking, and now he has such a dope set of locks. And especially where I am at in my dreadlock journey, I love seeing this because it gives me perspective on where my locks can go, and it keeps me from cutting them, hopefully this time. So if you've come this far into the video, I want to thank you for watching. If you'd like to see me review someone, leave them in the comments, and I'll get back to you with a video and a dreadlock review very soon. Peace.